Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another video, and this is a black jean jacket video, so you already know this one about to be a serious one. So unfortunately, I've been getting a lot of hate in the comments, and a lot of people say, basically people are just getting butthurt because I talk about their stocks and I call them trash, and that's fine. I really don't care anymore what people in the comments say. I recognize that as my channel grows, I'm going to have trolls and haters, so it is what it is, right? But for the reasonable people out there who genuinely think Tattooed Chef is a good company and aren't haters of mine and genuinely just don't understand why Tattooed Chef is a bad company, I'm here to break that down for you. So probably this weekend, I'm just going to start releasing a string of videos just dismantling all of these horrible trash garbage YouTube stocks. And I'm just going to bring the facts and tell you guys why they're bad, okay? So let's go ahead and get right into it. The first stock on the list we're going to talk about is Tattooed Chef, okay? So here we go. This is their latest earnings report, by the way. This got released in March of 2022. So this is the latest earnings report that we got from them, okay? Says here, fourth quarter financial overview. Oh, yeah. Revenue rose 32% to $52.3 million. Sorry, my ear is itching. Sorry about that. Tattooed Chef branded product revenue increased 21% to $29 million, or 56% of total revenue. Okay. This is where they trick you. This is why you have to be careful of people like Jeremy who say, oh, it's growing, it's expanding different stores, doing all. It sounds good. But when you really take a look, you start to really see the truth. So now we're going to scroll down. We're going to find the truth here. So here's that revenue, right? They told you everything that's good. Let's look over here where it says 12 months into December. So this is basically year over year, right? So they essentially went from 148, not thousand because it's in thousands. So $148 million to $213 million. But here's what they don't tell you in the highlights. Look at their freaking gross profit. Holy freaking moly, bro. Jesus. Look at their gross profit. So you mean to tell me you increased your net revenue significantly? You went from $148 million to $213 million in revenue, but your gross profit only grew like not even $1 million. Not even. Like, what is this? $600,000, maybe $500,000 or something? Jesus. This is the stuff you got to pay attention to. This tells you right here that this is a really bad company. Then we look over here. So for the quarter over quarter, you bring in $52 million. Congratulations. But you have to spend $51 million for cost of goods sold. That means like packaging and labor and all that. You have to spend just as much money as you made on labor and everything, on top of the fact that you grew your revenue so much year over year, but your gross profit barely grew. That's really bad management. Really bad. Now let me go to something else, because you guys asked for it. This is where it gets tricky. Gross margin. This is what many YouTubers don't know and don't tell you. Gross margin is between 10 to 12%. Jesus freaking Christ. Those are really low margins. This already off rip is not a business I want to invest in. Now, if we compare that to their competitors, I looked at their competitors. Almost all of their competitors have a higher gross margin than this company does, including Beyond Meat, which has about a 25% gross margin. That's already one thing, right? We're going to keep going. In their Investor Day presentation in 2020, they said that their projections was 49% growth in 2021 and that they will bring in $222 million in revenue. It's literally on their presentation. They didn't meet those projections. Instead, revenue increased only 43% instead of 49%, and they brought in $213 million. Now, I know what you guys are going to say. I already know. Well, that's not that big of a miss. They said they would bring in $222 million, and they only brought in $213. That's not that far away. Hold on. Context matters. They also said I forgot what they said for stores, but either way, they went from under 5,000 locations to 14,000 locations. So they grew tremendously in terms of expanding the stores, but they still didn't beat on revenue estimates. That doesn't make any sense because they actually went higher. I think they guided that they would get to 10,000 stores in 2021. I think that's what they guided to, and they surpassed that by a lot. They went from 5,000 to 14,000. 5,000 stores to getting their products in 14,000 different locations, and they still couldn't beat the revenue projections that they set for themselves in 2020. That is a big red flag. You've got your product, whatever, 14,000 minus 5,000, you've got your product in 9,000 extra locations, and you still couldn't beat the revenue that you projected. Come on, guys. Huge red flag. And then on top of that, they had all these weird accounting issues. They had to abruptly reschedule their Q3 earnings reporting. And then they had the same issue again on another earnings report. And this was because they said that they needed more time to finish their financial statements, which, let's be honest, that's not a good look for a company, guys. That's just not a good look. I know. You want me to stop. You wish I was done. But I'm not. So let me go ahead and paint this picture now. Let me go ahead and make it plain and clear, right? So they fell short of guidance in 2021. You know, the guidance that they projected in 2020, they fell short of that, right? And now management is projecting revenue of 280 million to 285 million, which is only a 34% year over year growth. Now remember, they grew their revenue 43% in 2021, and now they're projecting only 34% in 2022. So they've lowered their own projections, proving that they're more than likely going to slow down on their growth. They're not getting better. They're getting worse. They're not growing. They're decelerating. Here's another important part. And this is the last thing. Tattooed Chef's gross margin was 10% in 2021. Want to know what their gross margin was in 2020? It was 14%. Their gross margin dropped. 2020 was a great year for them, and it's just been downhill ever since. So gross margin of 10% in 2021, 14% gross margin in 2020. Their gross margin guidance for 2022 is between 10 to 12%. I rest my case.